This is TTT News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Good morning. This is your TTT News update at 6. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. The TNT Spirit is currently undergoing a comprehensive technical assessment at the Port of Port of Spain to evaluate its operational condition and ensure compliance with all relevant safety and performance standards. A release from the Port Authority on Monday noted that the vessel experienced mechanical difficulties after debris was drawn into the engines during its voyage to the Port of Scarborough on Sunday. As a precautionary measure, the TNT Spirit was withdrawn from service and returned to Port of Spain that evening. The release added that contingency arrangements have been put in place to support the inter-island ferry operations and to accommodate affected passengers. In light of a recent series of accidents involving vessels used for inter-island transport, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Falia Gustin, assured the public that the THA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure and other stakeholders, is actively working to resolve the issues in the shortest possible time. In a social media post, the Chief Secretary acknowledged the incidents involving the newly acquired MV Blue Wave Harmony and the TNT Spirit at the Port of Scarborough, along with the frustration and concerns of citizens who rely on the inter-island ferries.
NIDCO's technical teams are working around the clock to assess the impact and to ensure our sea bridge remains reliable. One of the most disappointing consequences of these logistical hurdles is a challenge to hosting the medium band finals in Tobago. So discussions are well underway between Pantrimbago, NIDCO, the port, and so forth. And I'm sure you will hear from Pantrimbago soon.
Mr. Gustin also highlighted the economic impact on citizens and appealed for patience as the issues are being addressed.
I am therefore asking for your grace and your patience as we in the THA continue to push and push and push and work along with the Ministry of Works in Trinidad and Minister John, who has been very kind to us, to get these repairs done expeditiously so we can return to normalcy.
With the 2026 National Panorama Finals medium bands expected to be hosted in Tobago on February 8th, the Chief Secretary assured that the relevant agencies will provide updates following full assessments. In some sport news now, the Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Sports Association President Ashton Eligon commended all drivers in the fraternity for their commitment and sacrifice to the sport while speaking at the 2025 TITASA Awards at the Ohana Restaurant in Chaguanas. Eligon also shared his excitement ahead of the Nations Cup karting event, which will see the regional tournament hosted in TNT for the first time. The Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Sports Association President Ashton Eligon commended all drivers in the fraternity for their commitment and sacrifice to the sport while speaking at the 2025 TITASA Awards at the Ohana Restaurant in Chaguanas. Eligon also shared his excitement ahead of the Nations Cup karting event, which will see the regional tournament hosted in TNT for the first time this August.
As we look forward to this year, from the CDRC Championship Finals to be held in Jamaica sometime this year to the Nations Cup in August 2026, this is a great opportunity hosting this event, one that saw Trinidad winning in Barbados last year. And we're confident that we will win again in home soil.
In some international news now, record-breaking snowfall across Japan has been blamed for at least 30 deaths over the past 2 weeks, officials said, including a 91-year-old woman who was found buried beneath nearly 300 centimeters of snow outside her home. The severe weather has prompted the government of Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi to deploy troops to assist affected communities, according to reports from national broadcaster NHK. Authorities told people to watch for avalanches and accumulated snow falling from rooftops, NHK reported, and also warned that power outages are possible in the hardest hit areas. As of Tuesday, the northern city of Aomori had 175 centimeters of snow accumulated on the ground, more than double the average for this time of the last year, according to NHK. On Monday, the city recorded as much as 183 centimeters of snow accumulating in some areas, breaking the 40-year record of 181 centimeters observed in 1986. And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Vimala Bakaran. Good morning, Vimala.
Good morning, Harry.
That was TTT News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
The Cabinet has approved the increase in the permissible age of importation of foreign-use right-hand drive private cars, that's sports utilities, SUVs, sedans, and station wagons powered by gasoline, dieseline, or compressed natural gas, CNG, from 3 years to under 8 years and under from the date of manufacture.
Music. Culture.
As Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa has announced recently with our revitalization master plan, we are open for business. And a key area, a key focus of that master plan is, of course, the energy sector and the energy hub. And we will be open for business, not only for Nutrien, but for all other players that wish to discuss their investment portfolio with us.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1 FM.
These are not just stories. They are the echoes of who we are, passed down in voices, in silence, and in memory. From the heart of the Caribbean, where history, mystery, and magic meet, this is Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Your weekly journey into the legends, stories, and whispers of our islands. Brought to you by Talk City 91.1 FM. One of Tobago's most enduring legends is that of Gangang Sara, often called the African Witch of Golden Lane. The story dates back to the late 18th century. According to tradition, on a stormy night, Sara was blown from her home in Africa across the sea and landed safely at Lekoto. From there, she traveled to Golden Lane in search of family who had been taken there many years before. Sara lived in a remarkable age and was remembered not for fear, but for wisdom, kindness, and quiet strength. She married Tom, whom legend says she had known as a child in Africa. Together, they built a life in Tobago. After Tom's death, Sara longed to return home. She climbed a great silk cotton tree and attempted to fly, unaware that she had lost that power after eating salt. To this day, their names, Tom and Sara, are said to remain inscribed on their headstones, lying side by side for nearly 200 years. Whether history, myth, or memory, the legend of Gangang Sara remains a powerful symbol of love, resilience, and the enduring pull of home. Another tale from our islands, reminding us that the past, the spirits, and the stories of our ancestors are never far away. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Only on Talk City 91.1 FM. This Tuesday, February 3rd, on The Ground Report from 6 to 7 a.m. on Talk City 91.1 FM. Hosts Andy Williams and Lennox Smith lead a focused, in-depth national conversation. Joining them live is Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Anil Roberts, for a wide-ranging discussion on the issues at the center of public debate. The discussion will examine the recent Joint Select Committee on MTS, the defeat of the Zoso bill in the Senate, and the important question of whether independent senators operate with true independence. Minister Roberts will share his views on the state of the opposition PNM and its former leadership, as well as the Venezuelan migrant situation, including the ongoing registration process and the way forward for migrants living in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing is off the table. This is one conversation you don't want to miss. This Tuesday on The Ground Report from 6 to 7 a.m., we go straight to the heart of the issues shaping Trinidad and Tobago. Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Anil Roberts, joins us for a wide-ranging and no-holds-barred discussion, only on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Wake up to the issues that matter most on the Ground Report. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith every morning from 6 to 9 a.m. for real talk, real analysis, and real perspectives on the stories shaping our nation. News, current affairs, and voices from the ground, unfiltered and unapologetic. That's the Ground Report. Weekday mornings on Talk City 91.1, where the conversation begins.
This is Destra, and right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
Bang, bang, bang.
The Ground Report. The Ground Report.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
The Ground Report. The Ground Report.
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy.
Government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place.
Water you turned into wine. Open the eyes of the blind. There's no one like you.
That's what we talking about, Trinidad and Tobago. We must start with some prayers. That's what we're talking about. Especially when we have the Honorable Senator Anil Roberts in studio today, live, to answer all the hard questions. It is what it is. We're going to push him. Let's see if you're gonna say the leader say bat in your crease.
Bang, bang, bang.
That's why we tell you it's a government of the people. We promise you that we will get someone here to answer your questions. Don't forget, you can post up what questions you want answered to the minister. He'll be here until 7 a.m. this morning. He's already in studio. Man, there's a efficient man. Remember, he always on the road early, 4 o'clock in the morning. Must deal with all those athletes and all those various things. It is what it is. That's the man, man. I must say a pleasant good morning to all maxi taxi drivers, PH drivers, bus drivers, truckers, to the driving public. Good morning to you. And thanks so much for making sure that your passengers lock on to the number 1 program on Talk City 91.1 FM, The Ground Report. And don't forget, drivers, if anybody tell you all, change that dial, drive, change that dial. We don't want to hear them, you know. Change that dial. Don't forget, put them out of your maxi, put them out. Put them out of your taxi, put them out. Put them out of your PH vehicle. Put them out. And you who was talking to the red band that is pick up people at Rima, drop them QF and then pick them back up QF to make the extra money. Don't do that to the ones coming from a Rima that tell you change the dial. Nah. You see the one who say change the dial, put them out QF, let them pay again, right? Like the pet bull view.
And if our God is
Bang, bang, bang.
And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? And if our God is
for all of you that are looking to us on social media, at 91.1 FM on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter, pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. And all the rest of social media platforms that look on in the morning. Real Media TT on Facebook, Real Media TT on YouTube, The Corridor Transformation on YouTube, 648 Television. That's Irvin Felix, his wife, all of you, good morning. On YouTube, and don't forget The Ground Report on YouTube. Good morning to all of you. I can't tell the 400 of you already, 450 of you that already look on. We now start. Good morning. Can't call your names this morning, man. We have a tight schedule. So let's get ready. Get all the questions ready. We have none other. So don't even bother. The man, Senator Anil Roberts. Way!
Bang, bang, bang.
Hey, Nigel Snipes.
I feel like I come to church on Talk City 91.1 FM this morning. But you know, once I on Talk City, I comfortable. Since I in Fatima, every report card 10 out of 10. But talk too much, you talk a little less. My mother say, boy, you talk. And look where I reach with the talk. Good morning, Andy. Like you had doubles and coffee this morning. I never hear you so energetic, boy. You wake up early. Ground report starting on time. Lennox in the fancy suit. Well, boy, this is a good week, boy. Good morning to one and all. How you going, my brother? Started one time and don't frighten.
I'm all right. Well, boy, I'm a point in Lennox corner one time immediately while I prepare.
Yes, indeed. Morning to you, Andy. Of course, a morning to all in Central, East, West, South Central, in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are. Streaming on the World Wide Web at this point in time. A pleasant good day to you, whatever time of the day it is in your neck of the woods, so to speak. Yes, so we have, of course, Senator Anil Roberts with us this morning for a whole hour, and we want to make optimum use of it. Yes, indeed. The time check is just about, let's say, 16 minutes past the hour, 6 o'clock, and yes, he's here.
Well, correct it, because I don't make joke with time. My girl could tell you, OCD, you only have me for 43 minutes, because with all that introduction, and he introduced me. You understand?
I was going to extend it, but
but let me say first, before we go politics, because you see me, I like international brilliance. I think Trinidad and Tobago is the most creative, brilliant, amazing people across the board. We have the best, the brightest, the best surgeons, the neurosurgeons, gynecologists, creatives, music, soca, pan, across the board. Trinidad and Tobago get 2 Grammy, boy.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, my goodness, congratulations.
That was the international news this morning. Yes.
And Kwame.
Yes,
Ryan from Fatima College, and for all you who ain't get your tickets for Fatima Fete is this Saturday. I don't know if they have any more tickets left.
But look as though you went to Fatima, boy.
Old carnival, Fatima, boy, and it's a love note. So if you're in love, bring your loved one. You know
I hear you, my friend. I hear you, my friend.
You're in love still, or you're out and back in.
I always hear, man. I watching you in your lovely suit too. Lennox in his
Of course, we want to. I just want to ask you, how has it been since your appointment? And of course,
how has it been? Let me tell you something.
The government,
you know, you always feel
like,
but you
I seen everything.
So, I's not Marvin and them boy, you know. I's not Kid Scotland and them.
Yes, indeed. Well, let me formally, of course, invite him to the studios of 91.1, of course, Talk City this morning. And, of course, we had to promote it because, we don't get rarity like this very often, especially on a normal day like today and at this hour. So, once again, of course, welcome to our studios. And indeed, of course, we want to no holds bar, as the saying goes. And I just want to ask you, how has it been since your appointment? And, of course,
how has it been? Let me tell you something.
The government,
you always feel, and people, it's amazing. This doubles and coffee thing. The thing just gone wild. I gone anyway. I in pan yesterday. The amount of times I hear doubles and coffee from all kind of people, left, right, and center. When I went down in Point 14, Labrie, up in Toko. But then I try to analyze, because you always want to know what people like. And they like the facts, they like the research, they like the information.
Right.
Even PNM people, they watch doubles and coffee more than PNM thing. But they might get vexed with Anil. They don't like the ball head. They find my mouth too big. But when I give them the facts, they just go and have argument inside General Council and so on. But the point of it is that we have been inside there for 9 months. And Lennox Smith, all the research that I would have done before, all of the care and the information and the triple sources and so on, could have never prepared me for the damage that the PNM left in the treasury. Whenever you hear Imba the Dwen talk, or this next one, the Kobo Sweat, Dan Paul, who get Minister of Finance for a month and then had to come out. When you hear them talk, and everything they talk about is IMF, IMF, IMF. I saying, but what are they talking about? Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Devendra Tanku, nobody in the UNC ever mentioned anything about IMF. We will increase revenue streams. We will diversify the economy. We will make our relationships with international partners to create jobs and revenue, to ease the foreign exchange, to increase foreign direct investment. We never talk nothing about no IMF. So how these PNM all the time is IMF, IMF. You know what it is? Them knew if them had win an election on April 28th, thank God, let me just pray to all, Jah, Rastafari, Orisha, Hindu, Muslim, all the Lord Jehovah, thank you for April 28th. Because had PNM come back in Lennox, boss man, them knew what them had do. And if we continue down that road of stupidity, incompetence, job loss, no creativity, poor negotiation skills, NGC making a loss, no refinery, and them didn't pay the bills, is IMF, IMF, IMF spelled PNM. That's why them talking IMF. Because boss, by HDC, they bought all their build a house yet. We have $1 billion to pay that them ain't pay yet. We have contractors and goods and service suppliers owed $1 billion. Done by MTS, or they saw it on the Joint Select Committee.
Yes.
They owe people $850 million. The Ministry of Housing owe $450 million. The Ministry of Culture owe $135 million. The Ministry of Sport owe $75 million. And down the line, them never pay the bills. The only bills PNM pay is Faris get he rent. But you didn't have the correct approval. Police, what are they doing? People always say, Anil, why all they don't lock them up?
Yeah. That's
my people, we have to read a book. The executive, the political arm, there's a separation of powers. The police is an independent unit, and only the police and the DPP have the authority to charge people criminally. So when all they're talking, like when the Dogra give all this information, the police have the information, them know that Foster Cummings, one man, PNM minister who claimed that they're fighting for poor people and they love poor people, he come in the Senate last Zoso debate and saying how he did so well in youth. He provided a loan for young people to start a business. $20,000.
Yes.
Right?
I
say, you were providing $20,000 for young people to start a business, but you give you and your family your 7 companies, Clyde and Rivulet Investments, Shaw Serve, Pical. You get over $500 million for you and your family alone. Why you didn't give the youths that 500 and you take the 20,000? But these people, they recuse themselves 619 times.
Oh, yes.
Them rich get richer. The ministers get richer. Small pin get big pin money with the father and the brother and so on, $6 billion in work from them being ministers, and them have the audacity to pretend now them doing video and playing flag woman for Pan, small pin with the outer time himself. He went to play flag man for St. Francois School.
Yes.
You know the man who was arranging the teaching thing. Tell the children don't watch it, you know, because you'll go out of time. You're gonna lose this song if you watch small pin dance, or you go mash up my whole arrangement. You know? He say look left if small pin to the right, look left, you know, because that man had no timing, boy. That man, I don't know where he come because he pretending. Yes, I tell small pin young, since you love Pan, since you're a Pan ambassador, show my girl a picture yesterday, 1994 Panorama, me and Marshall sitting down in the North Stand at 11 p.m. waiting for Desmos to come on. Desmos play 1 a.m., right?
Right, yes.
I say, you see how long I inside this North Stand here? I in this North Stand. Boy, you know, when man used to go up to P and get robbed with gold chain and thing up at the top, right? When you go there, you have to prepare to fight. When you're going down, you understand, man used to hold. They had to hold the P till you want to go home, you know. It's not robbery in the back. But it's safer now. Thanks to Kamala Prasad, Mr. Roger Alexander. They say my boy can't talk. My boy this. He don't answer question good. That know he walk. I go talk. That my part of my work is to talk. Roger Alexander work is to keep we safe. Crime gone down 42%.
Oh yes.
You understand? And we not happy. We not celebrating, boss. We had to bring this country to sweetness. This madness about youth man killing out man for stupidness, for a little block and thing, and they so wild and they squeezing trigger without training and killing innocent people. That's why when you see the Zoso debate, the PNM balling is celebrate. Celebrate what? All of them in the Senate who arguing, the 9 president senators, them sit down, I watch them, so 3 of them look just like him, but if all you catch what I'm talking about, I say, but who them represented? You understand? Them look exactly like him, but same shade, same shape, same grin, same and them trying to talk
same hue
about
same hue and texture of hair.
All kind of thing. You understand? Same kind of arrogant attitude, and them trying to talk on behalf of people from Mango Rose and Scorpion and Malabar and down in Carapo and train line and that's it. But where all it was? I say I walk all them place. I could go and sit down there and drink a rum and soda with the boys and talk to them. I could walk on there. I just went by take my daughter by Despas to hear them practice a little bit. Walk up George Street thing. She said, Daddy, but this, I've never been here. I say, you must learn your place. Come with your father and let me walk and see. She said, but is it safe? I say, we safe anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago. We walk anyway. Them sit down there with the elite self. They don't want, okay, what is Zoso, right? What is a zone of special operation? All it is that the police and army could go in an area and make sure that the wildness stop, that everything packed down, that man not running in the street with AR-15 and submachine gun and shooting each other as if it's killing dog in the road, that the police would provide an area where good citizens who want to go law-abiding, want to go to work, get to 91.1 FM early. Imagine you have to leave Lavanti at 4:30. You frighten me, you're watching left, right, center, you're watching up, down, you ain't know what going on. When a man walks so you run so. Is that the Zoso was to give people at ease. But these people who sit down there, I watch across at them. And not only one of them, the differently abled, the blind lady, she lives humbly and so on, right? Because her husband has work PH on taxi on thing and right. But the rest of them, the other 8 plus 2, because the debate went for 4 days. All of them,
members of society.
All of them in bourgeois area. All of them have gated community. All of them have security. All of them have arm. You have to have stick on your car to come in, and the arm just go up. They have armed security patrolling and police coming in. All of them safe like Selassie briefcase. But them discussing that the people in hotspot so-called areas that are under siege, that them don't want this, that it is somehow going to oppress black people. I said, but what madness? I say 3 man looking like Colm talking about what good for black people. I thought I went back to 1956. I thought the Queen reached back, you know.
Colonial days.
I sit down there in shock, and then one of them president senator, now people just call them independent senator.
Right.
in the Constitution, there's no such thing called independent
Yeah, we
senators.
learned that recently as well.
They are president senators selected by the president. Now, where the cover or the hue of independence came is that most of our presidents were unanimously selected by the Electoral College. So when you have the most independent, some of the days, when you check the years that the country run the best, the president was the most independent. People will go down in history saying Nur Hassan Ali, His Excellency, the Muslim president, was the most impartial, brilliant president ever. He ain't want to hear about no PNM, no UNC. He is just straight as an arrow, what good for the country. All others had been elected unanimously. Even Paula May Weeks, who turned out to be the biggest embarrassment to presidency in history, allowing Rowley to thwart a merit list and choose a commissioner of police who's supposed to be independent. But we allow that because the mass media, the Express, Newsday, good riddance, boy. All you done? I'm sorry for the people who lost their work, but it's good because when you use your newspaper to spread lies and to pretend that you are independent, the most corrupt thing in the world is to feign independence, to pretend that you are independent and so on, but you're really a poison PNM pill. There's nothing more corrupt. And that was the news there under Judy Raymond. Yeah. Judy Raymond, how your relationship was with Rowley? It was on the red couch, the pink couch, where it was. You went down the steps past the three dogs, the parrot, and opened the dungeon door. But you're writing and you take the news there down a line and pretending that it's mass media. That is why you bust. Because Calypso 10th bust. Why? Because since 1986, Joe Newell Williams, you kill Calypso because you tell Calypsonian, if you don't sing good about PNM, no money for you. But when Crow and Sugar Aloe start in 1985, 86, 87, singing a set of race thing, the most vile, disgusting lyrics known to man, people stop buying ticket.
Yes,
Calypso
indeed.
is supposed to attack everybody. Calypso, as Orlando Octave say, no party. We in government now. UNC not to control Calypso. Calypsonians supposed to be able to sing. Anil, your big mouth, bald head, your coffee and doubles, you could sing that and I go sit down there and listen. Right?
People, of course, we are on Talk City. We are on Talk City as a 91.1 and we have the...
We taking a break already, boy?
Yes, indeed. But when we come back, of course, a lot of information coming to us with respect to the poison tree that created the poison fruits, which of course that we are referring to, of course, the so-called independent senators. We will, of course, go into a little more of that simply because of the
how a PNM could pick a independent. So you will have a mango tree and pick tamarack.
The failure of this also when we come back and why. We go for a break
Wake
and
up
when
to
we come
the
back
issues
more.
that matter most on the Ground Report. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith every morning from 6 to 9 a.m. for real talk, real analysis, and real perspectives on the stories shaping our nation. News, current affairs, and voices from the ground. Unfiltered and unapologetic. That's the Ground Report. Weekday mornings on Talk City 91.1, where the conversation begins.
If you are a migrant currently living in Trinidad and Tobago without legal immigration status, this message is for you. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has introduced a special registration process for migrants who have overstayed or entered the country illegally. The online registration process will begin from Monday 26th of January and end on Wednesday 25th of February 2026. All applicants are first required to register through the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. After completing the online registration, there will be a mandatory in-person processing and verification which begins at the end of February 2026. The start date for that phase will be announced through official government channels. The in-person registration will take place at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, Port of Spain, the Atto Bolden Stadium in Balmain, Couva, and the Larry Gomes Stadium in Malabar, Arima, as well as the Dwight York Stadium, Bacalet, Scarborough, Tobago. Applicants will undergo a comprehensive verification process, which will include vetting by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service involving fingerprinting and background checks. You will also be required to undergo basic medical screening. Upon completion of the registration process, successful applicants will be required to pay $700 for the migrant registration card. The ministry reminds undocumented migrants your participation in this exercise is essential, as failure to register during this window will result in deportation. This special registration process for migrants is your opportunity to be documented, protected, and allowed to work legally in Trinidad and Tobago for a defined period. For additional instructions, along with online application and required forms, visit the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. This message brought to you by the Ministry of Homeland Security and the Information Division, Office of the Prime Minister.
Don't let the flu season slow you down. As Carnival approaches, the Ministry of Health is urging the public to take action now. Influenza can cause severe illness, hospitalization, and even death, especially in older adults, children, pregnant women, and persons with chronic conditions. But vaccination can help reduce severe illness. Crowded events, late nights, and close contact can increase the risk of spreading the virus. Don't wait until you're sick. Get vaccinated today. Influenza vaccine is available free at all health centers and vaccination sites nationwide. Visit the ministry's social media pages for more information. Protect yourself, protect others, get your flu shot today. A message from the Ministry of Health.
This is Destra, and right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
Ground report. The ground report.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
The ground report. The ground report.
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
The ground report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Nice. Trinidad and Tobago, we are back. Time check. Yeah, it's at 36 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, and you're listening to the ground report. And as you say, the bell ring. Cliting. Let's get on to the hard questions. Lennox Smith done put it up there already. First question, is independent senators really independent? My next question after will be a very, very serious one, but let's see. Go ahead, Senator Anil Roberts. Is independent senators really independent?
Yes, of course, and information coming to us is that they are the product or the fruits of a poison tree. And when that came up to our attention, we thought, well, looking back at your own experience in the Senate, quite apart, of course, from the proclamation by this president of her Bible attachment to the PNM, so to speak, religiously, the ball is in your court.
Let me tell you all something, and it's a basic principle. The principle of apparent bias states that if someone who is in judgment, someone a decision maker, an arbiter, has a relationship, an intimacy or connection with one side as opposed to the other, they cannot adjudicate, because a reasonable person will feel, regardless of their actual position or their actual decision making, that the previous relationship, they would be biased to that side as opposed to the other side. It's a basic principle. That is the principle. You just have to stick in the pieces now. Kangaroo, the now president, is a PNM. She boasts about the gospel of the PNM. She was not only a PNM, she was a vile, passionate PNM. When she was president of the Senate, you all go and check it. The first time I get up under COVID to talk with a mask, my suit was too big because I didn't wear suit for about 7 years, and I pull it out the cupboard. It was smelling a mothball and thing, but I went there to debate, and before I could open my mouth for 25 seconds, that woman tell me, talk suffer, you can't tell, we make our rules, and she start one time in 30 minutes, That lady supposed to sit there, and if the PNM call a standing order, she adjudicates. She wait for no PNM to call nothing. She interrupt me 21 out of 30 times. A time I debated immigration, and here she, Senator Roberts, just because the bill is about immigration don't mean you could talk anything on immigration. The lady is a stifling, sycophantic PNM. Therefore, furthermore, when we went to the Electoral College, for those of you who may not know, the Electoral College is a joint sitting of the Parliament. So you have the Parliament and the Senate, and all members, including the so-called president senators, come in and you get to vote. You vote on a president. When this lady was elected, it was a partisan vote. PNM voted for her, and the UNC voted for Israel Khan. PNM won because PNM had more seats at that time. She was elected by PNM. PNM lost April 28. So really and truly, someone with ethics and morals and principles and following the convention would have tendered her resignation, knowing full well that she occupied an office based on her political relationship, but in Trinidad and Tobago, principles go out the window when it's PNM. So she stick there, she stay there, and then she appoint people, and they feel that even though they come from a PNM tree, from a woman who preached the gospel of the PNM, from a woman who in 2015 was bad talking the UNC in the most vile manner, for a woman who was in the Senate, president of the Senate from 2016 coming up to 2025, and she was attacking the UNC, stifling the voice of the opposition, stifling us by not even youth standing orders. When I ask her, what is the standing order for voice? My voice big, I just talk loud. When I coaching children, just hear me underwater in the Olympics crowd, 60,000. And George Bovell say, when he do his breaststroke, he hearing my voice, ball it up. He hearing me above 60,000. I talking normal. And the woman trying to interrupt me. So if she chooses people, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. If in 15 years' time, when I relaxing and no more doubles and coffee, I don't have to come on the ground report and talk so fast and so many issues, and I enjoying my grandchildren, and I going on national team because we just do sport and things, so I expect my grandchildren to represent the country, and I go in and I go in Dominican Republic and watch them do something, compete in the Caribbean or the Carifta. If the Prime Minister at that time, let me say some young person like Khadija Amin was just here, let me say she's the leader of the UNC and she's the Prime Minister in 15 years, and she say, Anil, you're now president. All your PNM go like that? All you feel I go be a fair, independent, balanced president? Or would I be a UNC? I a UNC. So I cannot, once I am of that, there are certain jobs I cannot take.
You are tainted.
I am biased. Some people tell my UNC, I believe in my UNC. I believe in the policy. I believe in that we are best of the country. I believe that. So I will have a relationship with people who believe that I don't lie with no PNM. I think PNM is a blight. So how I could give PNM a fair shake? I think PNM is a poison that kill this country. I think PNM is the worst disease. People that say, boy, we don't get hurricane and we don't get tsunami because God is a Trini. God is not a Trini because God gave me PNM and his wickedness. So what would you all say, all the PNM? If Prime Minister, UNC Prime Minister in 15 years when I am 71 says, Anil, go and swear on the Bible, put on a nice suit, look good, and go in President's house, that would be wrong. Nice. Because I am not impartial. That job, it should be for somebody who was never involved passionately with any side, because you have to appoint president senators who should be independent. Think about this also debate that went. The amount of nonsense, 8 out of 9 and 1 abstention against a bill to make people safe. Does that sound logical? Does that sound reasonable? Is that the feeling out there? In the feeling out there in the country right now. Let me say they have 12,000 people listening to this show across all platforms. 6,000 might be for Zoso and 6,000 might not be. So therefore, our independent vote should be something like 5-4, 4-5, somewhere around there. Not 9-0. 9-0 proves the point that something wrong. Yeah. But nice, you cannot be appointed on a principle by a PNM and then tell me I am imputing improper motive. I'm doing no such thing. I'm just talking principle.
That's my hard question. Wait, my hard question now to all of that. The people out there will want to know. All right, her term is going to be up dressed now. The honorable
not just now. All you have to 4 years to suffer with that PNM who have no class. She should have resigned because she's a PNM president. Yeah. But she does not have the class, the ethics, the morals to do the right thing because she's a PNM. And Rowley said it best. Rowley said the safeguards put in by him, the constitutional safeguards, saved the country and the Zoso bill was defeated. Rowley knew what he was doing. When Rowley go and check the picture that Aslan Mohammed take with Rowley in the church with she flirting and smiling and his wife looking to the right and the short man husband looking the next way. That is how close she is to the PNM. And Rowley knew what he did. Rowley knew what he did when he went to Paula May Weeks to thwart the merit list. Rowley knew when he whispered in Paula May Weeks' ears and she got Bliss Sipasad to misbehave in public office and withdraw a merit list. McNish is in the Senate. Let McNish talk about what took place with that police service commission to appoint a commissioner of police in charge of charging. Why Camille ain't get charged with 143,000 cash? Why Rowley ain't get charged for not filling out his integrity in public like back form B properly? Why the indemnity signed with Vincent Nelson, nothing happened? What happened with Foster Cummins and Venture Credit Union? How money reach in that account? Why they ain't get charged? Because there's an implication that these offices have been poisoned by PNM over the years. 76.4% of the time, PNM has been in charge of our independent nation. PNM is a blight and they have controlled independent institutions, and that's why the country was bordering on failed state status before April 28th.
So you open the Pandora's box one. I'm not letting Mr. Roberts run. I'm not letting him run because people will want this question.
Hey, just a Andy.
Andy, hold on. Andy, number one, Mr. Roberts is my father. He'll be 84 this year. He's Anil. And Anil don't run from nothing.
All right, well, here is the big question. Your turn, your government turn coming up soon. What will be different? Because the same electoral college is the same now. Your government, the people government trying to go, which is my government to the UNC, will be in the next 2 years. What will be different from Dr. Rowley's pick for president compared to the UNC pick for president?
Let me answer your pitbull. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar was prime minister once before. She selected a president, Anthony Carmona, who received unanimous votes. Kamla is not of Rowley. Kamla does not covet control. Kamla wants the independent institutions to function because she realized that will eliminate corruption, that will make the country move smoother, that will help her uphold the constitution and ensure equity across the board. So Kamla Prasad-Bissessar has done that already, Pitbull. Anthony Carmona, go and check it. Receive votes from everybody. PNM and UNC, COP, MSJ, TOP back in the day. So that's what she does. She is powerful and strong. She is not insecure. Only an insecure human being will want to control others. The PNM is an insecure party. The PNM is like a husband who have a sweet wife and he can't control it. He had a luxury up home. She can't go out. She had an exercise home. She can't go nowhere. She have GPS on she car because he insecure. Kamala is like a real husband who would allow his sweet, beautiful, brilliant wife to go where she wants. And you are so correct,
Senator Ron Roberts. You are correct. Next question. Well, quick.
But I'm about to be correct as Anil boy.
Anil, right. Mr. Anil Roberts, Senator Anil Roberts.
Go ahead,
Next question. Auntie Kamala would not live forever. The people of Trinidad and Tobago knows that she's passionate, that she's real. She wants the best for Trinidad and Tobago. It will end up with our next prime minister that would not be Auntie Kamala. What would your government put in place to make sure that no prime minister can do us what Rowley do us and put Christine Kangaroo on us? What is the question? Answer
First and foremost, the United National Congress is a party that is democratic. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar at every juncture has taken on all comers. She has not been given anything. Some people were trying to say before in 2016, 2018, 2021 that she must go and she must leave and she stood up those who challenged got beaten. So the next leader and the next prime minister from the UNC will be determined by the membership of the UNC at that time when an election is due, and the democratic process will ring through. Furthermore, what we will ensure is whatever we can do, you must understand that the PNM is such a blight and a dictatorial, corrupt party that they usurp or they enlist support.
Fix that mic, Senator.
Prevent constitutional reform. So you have to ask Shalini Pandey, better known as Michaela, but Shalini Pandey, that's her real name, why she went in election, who was funding her? Was it a bareback Indian man who just cussed down the internet and cussed Kamala every 2 words? I just cuss when I line in and think, I never know that a man could cuss every 2 words. That one, ask him about the money that he got from Rowley friend. He want to marry Stuart Smallpin Young. He loved them like hog love mud. Ask Shalini Pandey if she received funding by that man, because she took away 3 seats from Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Aruka Lopino by 256 votes. San Fernando East by 402 votes. And the third seat that we lost was Malabar Mausika, where they now have a PNM man who more interested in Kamala dress and how much it costs. I live my life so long, me ain't never watch or care about how much a woman spend on she dress. Me ain't know where PNM getting this bunch of man who studying woman dress and getting on like a set of macome inside of the parliament. The PNM has lost its way in more ways than one. They can't even find a real man to sit down in the parliament.
Oh God, Lennox, you go, partner. Oh Lord.
Yeah, come now, man. I can't know woman.
Listen. The track record of the UNC is polluted. It's clear, and therefore the
nice word, Lennox.
Yeah. And therefore the policies of the leadership will reflect that. That is clear to all of us. But before we go into the economic aspect of the experience so far, I would want to conclude with respect to the ZOSO bill and to indicate that here it is. Last night I mentioned on my program where the representative for Laventille West, he invited the Honorable Minister of Works to tour Beetham and other parts of that constituency, and I was irritated. It was ironic to me, having read the bill, I have a copy of it in front of me here, to see that there is supposed to be something called a development committee, and on which the parliamentary representative, either he or she, or a representative nominated or dictated by him, will be on that committee. In that way, he has direct oversight, he has direct control, in a sense, or input. And of course, among the things is a question after the cleanup by the police. Among the things that committee is supposed to do is to deal with infrastructure, deal with, of course, social intervention, deal with education, deal with business that may be floundering, and therefore their job is to, of course, solicit and enlist the various ministries in order to make sure that when the exercise is completed, that the community is in a better place. Yet still, he prefers to call the minister, which is much harder. And indeed, on this particular committee, from the information I have, is that they will be gazetted. They will be given instruments of appointment, all of that, by the Prime Minister herself. In this case, in future, we another Prime Minister. So what I'm saying is this.
Let me sum it up.
Double jeopardy. Double irony, all kind of thing. But go ahead. Yes, go ahead. I just want to make sure the population.
So what you're saying is that the white boy vote against himself in the parliament. So the white boy, who had to go in parliament and say, but I boit. I never hear a man who boit had to say that he boit. So what you're saying is that he vote against himself. That's what they're saying.
All of them.
Well, that's how boit he is. That's how he get in
all
law
of them.
school. Because he had to get in law school because PNM had to unlock the door. He couldn't get in based on grades. And these people have no shame. You know how many children with better grades than that white boy could not get into law school? cannot earn the money that lawyers earn because they didn't get the qualification standard, but PNM lower it for him. They put him in there. But you know the first thing he do when he get up in the PNM, he move out of Lavanti, migrate in the HDC house. He get the HDC house. Yes. You know many families, women, single mothers with children, come in and begging. I hate to hear that word beg. People just come, minister, are begging. I say, stop. I am a human being like you. Don't beg me. Beg God for forgiveness. I say, I will try. It's very hard, but don't beg. You know what happened to he? He had no wife. He had no child. Me ain't know if he could ever get a wife the way he bought, right? And he get HCC house. He get 2.7 million in CPEP contract. Yes. But he coming to represent poor people. PNM have no shame. Do you know back in 2021, when we saw that video and I see that men going and get charged up in Lavanti with the gold teeter and man standing up outside, man give up, man hand out, and they get riddled with bullets. I ain't going into the details. Investigation and case will go on. Yes. But remember the riots that came after that. And then Stuart Smallpin Young, an elitist who daddy keep him in CIC while he was beating up Imran every day. But Imran, after 5 years of bullying, take a baton and beat Stuart Smallpin Young and put him in a dustbin. They call him Dustbin Terrier after that. He had to stay in the hospital for a month, but he bullied that boy who was so intensely that the boy had no other choice but to fight back. Stuart Smallpin Young say that the UNC paying the boys in Lavanti and so on East-West corridor to protest. Because like even the PNM people, they feel that black people not smart enough to watch a video for themselves and react. That we, the UNC, who have no vote in there, we just get about you trying to struggle. How much vote you get? You're such a good man. You work so hard. But we can cross 500 and continue so to do. If we cross 500 vote, out of 10,000, we get plenty. All of a sudden, we could go up in Lavanti and Chubakak and Mango Road and pay man to protest the asininity of it. But that's how they treat people. So, do you know they made a committee back then? And Keith Scotland, the next one who put braids in here. I never see a bald head or some had braids. Boy, I see that man with a braid. I say, what happened, boy? It's braids. You have one weave. That man put a weave, you know. But I tell you, I just get shocked with his PNM, boy. That man put a weave and come in the red house. And I say, but you're no shame, boy. Anyway, he was the MP for Port of Spain South. They put here on a committee with some other people to provide opportunities for the area, create jobs, reduce unemployment.
Yes, I remember that.
You know, the only people get paid is them kids Scotland get extra 10,000 to sit on the committee and they do nothing. Yeah. And now you come in to tell me that when a bill is passed that could make the government put more resources into hotspot. It's not only police and army presence, you know. It is actual giving the cabinet the authority to invest more millions in those areas as opposed to other areas. That's the bill you have there. That man so white. He vote against his own people and say he love Lavanti West.
But before we go to the economic aspect, which we would momentarily.
You can't leave me at 7 now, you know.
Your view on the question
of some other big questions to answer.
The independent senators, which was crucial to the passage or the non-passage, as we have experienced, of this particular measure. The role of the independent senator. Because partisan politics notwithstanding, the fact is that these senators ought to have known.
Not ought to have known. Yeah. You see, you're just going back to the original argument.
Yes.
If you come from a poison tree, the fruit will be poison. So therefore, if what these institutions that are supposed to be independent, the DPP office, the police, the commissioner of police, the integrity commission, the Public Service Commission, the EBC, the PNM put the niece of a former sitting PNM minister in charge of the EBC, and Trinidad and Tobago say that fair. That is like me saying I go put my son in charge of the EBC and let him referee PNM versus UNC. Who my son will prefer? Not the father party.
Of course.
It's obvious. Yes. So whether he's a lawyer, he bright, he honest, he's go to church with the mother Catholic and thing, he is still my son and he would be biased towards UNC, even if not actually. Apparently, so the PNM put up the best friend.
Objective test.
The best friend of Gadsby. Let me tell you something. I have some partners from 1980 that when we went in Fatima in 1980, 3 or 4 of them. Them is my brothers more than my brother. You understand? Your schoolmates, your friend from school is your real panderos. Gadsby Dolly best friend is Nancy Scope, who in charge of the EBC, and Gadsby Dolly is a deputy political leader in the PNM, a former PNM minister, PNM MP, and everybody in Trinidad and Tobago say find that right. So if we play in a World Cup qualifier against Barbados, the referee could be Trini. This is madness.
Nepotism
No,
at its
and
worst.
therefore, the president senators who come from a poison, they don't even understand. They don't even, some of them is senior counsel, you know, and can't understand that if a PNM president who preaches the gospel of the PNM appoint you, then you are tainted because a reasonable person will believe.
Do we
that
have the
you
news this morning around this time?
Wait, before we go for the news, before we go for the news, Mr. Senator, wait, Lennox Smith, Senator,
You can't disturb news, and you can't
disturb Senator, you can't run.
And when we come back more on
it's
getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here.
He's staying.
Andy, just calm. Be calm. Like calm, love. Be calm. All right, we go for the news, and when we come back more on this edition of the Ground Report.
Kangaloo is a PNM.
Countable stories. History in motion. Dan Moraine. Satire.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update at 7. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. With the budget now confirmed, preparations are underway for Tobago's hosting of the 2026 National Carnival production. Allocated at a cost of $7.5 million, the event will deliver several days of festivities across Tobago East and West, much to the delight of carnival enthusiasts. In an interview with TTT News on Monday, Tobago Festivals Commission Limited Chief Executive Officer Kern Cowan outlined the schedule of events for Tobago's National Carnival, which kicks off on Thursday with the Tobago House of Assembly Interdepartment Personality and Calypso competition.
And straight till Sunday, where you will have now medium band finals, steel band finals in Tobago at Parade Grounds. Then you have all the way to the east, we'll have the Windward Afro Queen Show. We have the Kiddies Extravaganza, Junior Extravaganza, Kiddies Parade, and then of course you'll have the Juve in Roxborough, Crown Point on Monday, on Carnival Monday, and then on Tuesday you'll have Juve at Calder Hall.
This year's staging of Tobago's National Carnival will see an increase in funding, moving from last year's $5.8 million allocation.
The budget this year is $7.5 million, and that covers more of a stakeholder focus, support to stakeholders, to support to Calypso, support to PAN. All of those are our main focus this rounds, and trying to ensure that the culture continues to be developed.
Festivities will include Monday Night Mass in Roxborough, with celebrations culminating on Tuesday with the Parade of the Bands featuring a new element, the merging of traditional and contemporary Mass. The draw today determines your position, but it does not determine your potential. These were the words of the Minister of Education, Dr. Michael Dowlath, as he encouraged finalists in the school's junior soccer competition. On Monday, the 11 finalists drew 4 places to compete in the final round of the competition. Minister Dowlath congratulated the students and reminded them that competitions like these go beyond entertainment. He's also encouraging families, schools, and communities to render their full support to the students.
And character building. Through music and performance, our students learn confidence, teamwork, discipline, and respect. Soft skills that will serve them long after the stage lights fade. In nurturing artistic expression, we are nurturing well-rounded citizens who appreciate culture not as a spectacle, but as a living classroom.
The finals of the school's junior soccer competition will be held on February 10th at the Southern Academy for the Performing Arts. Defending champions Jaleesa Lazarus and Zachary Ransom, along with Zayden Darius, Kamani Hector Kalu, and Asia Marie Williams are among the finalists. In some sport now, the Trinidad and Tobago Under-17 men's football team will face Barbados in their opening CONCACAF Under-17 World Cup qualifier at the Hazley Crawford Stadium this evening at 7 p.m. Head coach Randolph Boyce is confident of his side's Group A chances despite suffering heavy 6-0 and 6-1 defeats against Peru last week.
I think the experience was great for the boys. I don't think we could really want to use that to measure it up for this tournament. So let's go into this tournament and see how things goes. Look at our history in youth football and senior football. Which countries has been stopping us from going to World Cup qualifiers? Mainly North and Central America. Not so? So until we could close the gap between those countries, I think you had the answer for the rest. So we need to close that gap. So in my opinion, those are the type of countries we need to continue be playing on a regular basis if we could, to be able to close that gap.
And that is your TTT News update. I am Carrie Roberts. After the break, we return to Trinidad and Tobago today.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
This is about creating opportunity through responsible management and citizen participation in national wealth. We are targeting US $3 billion in new investment within the next few years in energy, in construction, in tourism, and the digital economy.
Music. Culture.
But it has goodies and some not so goodies. But that is because fairness requires that everyone plays their part.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1 FM.
Countable stories. History in motion. Dan Lorraine. Satire in silk.
With exaggerated curves and elaborate gowns, Dame Lorraine was never just comedy. She was satire. In the 19th century, freed Africans parodied the excess of French plantation society, mocking aristocratic fashion, manners, and power. Every movement exaggerated privilege. Every costume questioned status. Dame Lorraine reminds us, Carnival has always spoken truth, sometimes with laughter.
Carnival Stories, where humor meets history. Carnival Stories on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Pan on the road. Pan on the road. Voices on the air. Talk City 91.1.
This is Destra. And right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it loud.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
Nice! Boys, Trinidad and Tobago, we are back. I want to hit my 2 other points one time. Because I want time run out in Trinidad and Tobago. All you know when I come to the pitbull, I ask in the hard questions. One of my next questions, and I'm pointing to one time, the issue with the jobs, the fallout, with jobs when it comes to CPEP, URP, forestries and all those things, where it have hundreds of people at home at this point in time. Yes, we know that it had a ghost, it had this, it had that. Yes, we know all of that, but we also know it had hard-working people too that was depending on that. So we have to ask him, and he said he had question. Look how long it's taken for many other people to get back jobs. What is the situation with that? And before I go to that jobs aspect, one more, but throwing out all two, because I want to get lost in this. I know all the clapping there, all the maxis, taxis, PS vehicles, all who was really working and still waiting. Because the government only picked 200 people recently there. All your balling, oh God, why didn't pick 10,000 one time? And all those things. Right, let me go to my next big question here one time again. The situation too with the minister Dave Tanku went outside to get money borrow, and he get it was oversubscribed. He went for 1 million. I hear he was offered 3 million, but he still take 1. Why he didn't take the 3? Where they could organize and finish pump that in the economy there and get back some low-hanging fruit jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So let's hear that. And my last question, Tim, go be, what is his thoughts? What is your thoughts, Anil Roberts? Because it's all of over the country where people see in broad daylight.
Bright.
Broad daylight. Yeah, no, he's bright. He's not bright. Anil Roberts is bright, right? So we want to know what's your thoughts. I hope you can take off that cap as a normal citizen and watch it through the eyes of the citizen that wasn't outraged with what we see. We see a car pinned.
No problem. Number one.
Good.
Number one. Understand this. There is a government in place, and the Prime Minister cares about people, especially those at the lower end of the economic scale. She cares about single mothers.
Talking that mic. Bring up the mic by you.
Those who need more assistance. Well, I'm talking a little softer. So my boy had to know when I go down into my intellectual voice, I just go up, come back down, because I just talk to all the people. I will take a difficult question that you ask and answer it clearly. Understand, do not just pass over the point that they had ghosts and it was corrupt. Well, if you know that, it takes time to recreate a system where the money can trickle down to those most in need in a more meaningful manner, because the PNM had it set up for the rich to get richer. That's what Rowley said on CNC3 with the Jamaican woman who get her work down here to bad talk everybody else except PNM. He said the rich must get richer. So when you see CPEP, for example, if there were 333 contractors, all of them is PNM bigwigs. It have people, leader, father, husband, brother, sister, counselor getting CPEP contract down to the white boy member for Lavanti West at 2.7 million with the family in CPEP contract. Each contractor gets approximately 35 to 40,000 extra profitable dollars per month. So you have to now crash that corrupt system and utilize the money in a more meaningful way so that you can eventually pay the people on the ground more than the $100 or $120 for the 4 hours or 5 hours that they work, to get people to really work and get sustainable jobs. That's what Kamla Prasad Bisesa is doing. So it will take some time. We apologize for the time, but the PNM must apologize for the 9.5 years of thieving. The PNM thieving since 1962. The PNM is the most corrupt party in the history of the Caribbean, and they should hide their heads in shame. Talk about how Balize House stopped. How much more people could I get work and pay with the money that went into Balize House? The 120. You see, I going back up there. You had to follow, right? Let me go back down there now. I'll get you, make a catch cramp in your finger. You have to ask the PNM why Balize House stopped. Where Rowley got that $120 to $140 million. It wasn't no raffle ticket. Nobody ain't buy no raffle ticket. So that Fitzgerald Hines was by Price Mart in Movie Tongue selling raffle ticket. And for 3 hours, 4 people talked to him. Nobody wanted to see that Pumsite. Nobody wanted to see that sleepy sativa, narcolepsy, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy in his lap. Nobody wanted to see he. People were ashamed. They thought if they talk to he, they will get blight like he. So understand this. These programs were riddled with corruption, riddled with gang, riddled with ghosts. They have to be cleaned up. Kamala Prasad says in her first iteration between 2010 May and 2015 August, September, created 55,000 jobs. She will do so again. It will come with high-paying, sustainable jobs. Jobs for the poor is not just sustainable living. She wants to give people an opportunity not only to earn money, but to put aside money, to save money, to invest money. Do you know that there are citizens out there? People do not even understand how sick the PNM is. There are people out there who have no bank account. There are young boys on the street who have no ID. The only way they will know that them is Trini is that they write here and they talk like we. So we have a lot of work to do. You have to also add that to the decimation of the economy. The PNM was lying to the people. The PNM was hiding. So when you talk about Dave Tanku borrowing money, we cannot just go and borrow while, because Andy, the children, your children, my grandchildren, Lord, I hope I get a grandchild soon. My daughter get married last year, June. They will have to pay back. The PNM increased the national debt from 75 billion to 148 billion. That money has to be paid back at an average of 4.6 to 6.2% over 18-year period. You know how much money that is that our children will have to pay back. And you know who they took the loans from in the main? Small Pin Brother Company, where is the CEO? Before 2015 September, NCB Global Finance had zero public sector work. Within the first 4 years of Small Pin being under Rowley K-Pax and swearing to be Rowley Gary Sobers, his brother's company that is the CEO of received $4.2 billion in work. His father, Richard Young, who make excuse for him from primary school when he bully people into St. Mary's College and always hand him thing, was put in charge of the IFC. Ewart Williams resigned. Did any members of the PNM fake news media ask Ewart Williams, a proud black man, a strong, brilliant black man, why he resigned from the IFC? Because he couldn't get on with Richard Young. When Stuart Smallpin Young and Rowley went 2017 to negotiate in Houston with the upstreamers, which is gas, which is our lifeblood, which is our money, which is the money that we could create jobs with, they went and negotiate throughout the intelligent public servants, the chemical engineers, those experts who were negotiating on our behalf. Rowley and Smallpin throw them out of the room. Jerry Brooks resigned as the chairman of NGC. Did PNM fake news media go and ask him, Mr. Brooks, why did you resign? No, because PNM is a mafioso code. Keep your secret. So Jerry Brooks resigned, vexed, and kept his secret. But you know who suffered, Andy? The people of Trinidad and Tobago. NGC made a loss for the first time in 2019 after under Kamala making $2 billion US in profit annually. They made a loss. What does that mean? The people lost money. So therefore, the PNM was decimating the economy across the board. Closed down Petrotrin, shut down that foreign exchange crisis. 6,000 SMEs closed down. Then came COVID. I was talking about before COVID, you know. Then came COVID with Smallpin Young determining who could come home and who can't come home. 6,000 SMEs shut down. 6,000 at employing between 5 and 10 people. That is over 60,000 jobs. You heard the media talking about that? So yes, CPEP, URP, forestry will be rebranded. We will get value for money and people will get salaries that they could live, that they could save, that they could go in the bank and take a loan. CPEP was never intended when it was created by Patrick Manning to be a long-term thing. PNM have people doing advertisement before 2020 election. I've been working on CPEP for 12 years. Well, that means CPEP failed. Because it's a temporary thing. You're supposed to be there for a short time, get a little money, and then move on to higher paying jobs. PNM does not want people to move on to higher paying jobs because you know what happens when you have higher paying jobs? You get white. And PNM like people dotish. They don't like people white. You understand? Because when they have people who cannot be independent and make money and decide for themselves, then they will vote PNM on automatic pilot. Great is the PNM, that cult. You see how they're coming back with the tie and thing. Dr. Williams was a genius. He created a political machinery that once you reach the heights of the PNM, you will be prime minister, no matter if you're a miscreant like Dr. Keith Rowley, who was a teacher in 1969 and impregnate a girl of school age. He became prime minister after lying in a parliament about Emailgate. The PNM fake news media and controlling independent institutions continues to poison this country. So Devendra Tanku is a very responsible person. He will borrow what he absolutely needs to in order to keep the economy going, to fill the deficit left by the PNM. And slowly but surely we will diversify. Munilal is cutting and making negotiations with different countries. ExxonMobil is coming. Venezuela, things are changing. And notice all the talk about war and all the things done there now. Dragon go dance. And when the dragon dance, Trinidad will baila to soca and merengue. So understand that it is a careful plan. We can't go wild. But the essence of it is the economy was shattered by that short smiling Dwayne. And we will fix it. Kamala will fix it. The Dwayne is gone. PNM is gone. Penny will be gone. And Small Pin will be back. And I will smile because nothing easier to beat than a small pin. A small pin ain't good for nothing. Ask Asha Javid.
Nice. Let me ask the next question. MTS workers have been calling that they're not getting paid.
Wait, boy. I just take a breath. I have a third one. You tell me about what we saw with the police chase and so on.
Yes,
and
yes. People hangry. They said the Zuso bill get licks because of that.
Everybody have to stay calm. You know why Doubles and Coffee is a hit and so on? Because Doubles and Coffee don't rush. It's go with research, with information. People just wonder why Rowley don't sue me, why Small Pin don't sue me, why Marvelous Marva don't sue me, Mr. Bathroom Sports. Why them don't? Because you can't sue somebody when they talk the truth. I don't open my mouth and rush nothing. I don't lie on nobody. So I could talk inside, outside, upside down, and I talk in the truth. So what people need to understand, we saw something. I saw it. I saw about 3 minutes and 17 seconds, including 2 minutes and 40 seconds after the incident. But when I'm reading, I'm hearing that the chase and the thing took 14 and a half minutes. There's an investigation in place. There will be an investigation. Investigation must be scientific. It must be fair. What we saw on the clip would get us angry because we saw hands coming out. But that does not tell the whole story. An investigation is needed. Let me tell you something. My mother was in charge of the inquiry into the death of our officer called Bernadette James. You all remember that? Bernadette James was a police officer. She had seen something in the airport involving some big wigs, something to do with drugs and so on. I believe Abu Bakr spoke about it if you have an interview. But when they were doing a training exercise down in the peninsula, the Western Peninsula, with blanks, they were doing a practice exercise and so on. Somehow, one live bullet ended up, I believe, in her head, and she dead there. My mother was in charge of that inquiry, and that went on for months. She sat down there and went through stacks and stacks of information, investigation, reports, ballistics, scientific DNA, all these things at that time, and she had to go through. Then she had to grill about 35 witnesses, all on the bus, to try and get to the truth. So understand this. Coming from a legal family and so on, yes, we are angry. They are PCA, Independent Police Complaints Authority. They are PSB, those who are to do the investigation. Let us wait for the full investigation. Yes, from the sight of the video, we could get emotional and angry because we feel we know the full story. Doubles and Coffee, we always wait for the full story. And when the full story comes out, if it is as people believe, then we get angry. And we stay angry, and we call for change, and we call for better training, and we call for body cameras, and we call for propriety, and we call for a resurgence of the engagement policy of the police, because to whom much is given, much is expected. And police officers must understand that They have an awesome responsibility. Squeezing a trigger is not wildness. So what we saw looks terrible. It might be. But what I say is we must take a deep breath and wait for the investigation, wait for the report, and when we get the report, call for it to be laid in Parliament, call for it to be made public so the population could see. And when it is made public, read it, my people. Don't let no PNM read it for you and tell you what to say. Take it and read it. Use your own brain. Use your own eyes. Read it, analyze it, question it, and then we will come to a conclusion. But right now, getting vexed and angry when we don't know the whole story, we just have to wait.
Nice. Well, I have something where it's facts now. Facts. MTS workers, not now, but a while, always calling. They're not getting paid. They're not getting paid. The owes, they are owing. People are owing them. What is, I saw you in the parliament there, in that committee when it come into, I think it's finance committee when it come into those things there. What is the stories with MTS? Are this government victimizing MTS workers and not paying them? What's going on?
Well, if you watched it, if you looked at it, and if those who didn't look at it, go and look at it. Those questions that I was grilling the NOW board, which is the UNC board, was about the activities of the PNM board under Jackie Lazarus, Rowley's campaign manager for 30 years, Rowley's best friend. I don't think she ever went down the steps past the tree dog, past the parrot, and on the red couch, because the red couch, it couldn't really fit she. She's a little too big to go on the red couch. But that is Rowley Padna Pandero. She's the one who wrote a check from MTS to Foster Venture Credit Union, and it reached in Foster Cummins' account. Police, what going on with that investigation? Because Venture Credit Union had no contract with MTS. So how MTS write a check to Venture Credit Union? They like Andy Williams Pitbull have a contract with the Ministry of Housing or with HCC, and somehow we pay Lennox Smith, who is not a director of the company, for Andy Williams. It's corrupt, it's thieving, it's fraud, and we're the police, right? But let me just tell you. So what we found out in that Joint Select Committee is that the PNM was not paying their bills. That MTS, the organization, is owed $850 million. So if an organization is owed $850 million, do you think the cash flow position will be such that they could pay bills on time, or would they be under pressure? And if they are owed $850 million, do you think that debt just occurred in 9 months, or do you think that took a long time to accumulate? I put it to you, I proffer to you that it took a long time, that PNM has not been paying their bills for a long time and been making workers suffer. The PNM is a blight. They are dishonest, they're pathological, and they don't care about people. But understand this, the forensic audit has begun now, and the information will be made public or given to the DPP, the Commissioner of Police, for further investigation. But all of these agencies have been cash-strapped because the DWEN that's why you all now connect the dots. That's why the Auditor General was unable to formulate an opinion on our accounts for the last 2 years. Do people understand what that means? That means that the PNM Minister of Finance, called the DWEN Imbot, could not find his ministry to provide paperwork to the Auditor General, who is independent. Now, you see, the one institution that functioned well in the last 2-3 years is the Auditor General. Why? I didn't know who the Auditor General was, Lennox. I didn't know if it's a man, woman. I didn't know nothing. But all I know, when this issue came up 2 years ago, and the Auditor General simply asked the Ministry of Finance under Coleman, but please, where you are saying there's a deficit, there's increased revenue of $3.4 billion, please show me, because I do not see it. They could not provide the documentation. She said, but there's no documentation. And Coleman, but called the woman's cell, brought pressure to bear. Then the Lima, the AG, and so on came in the parliament, the precincts, and attacked the woman. That when I know the woman name is Jaiwanti Ramdas, me I know what she looked like or where she was. But that's what occurs when an institution works properly. She could not be influenced by the PNM. She would not be bullied by Imbot. She would not shirk her professional standards, her morals, and her ethics. She did her job professionally, and the Privy Council had to ask Imbot, but you create a kangaroo court, you create an investigation team, you pay the investigation team, you give them scope of works, who to investigate. How come you didn't investigate yourself? Because you is the man in charge, you understand? But the point of it is, that is the most critical thing. Never in the history of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, any government, whether PNM 56 to 86, NAR 86 to 91, UNC 91 to 90, PNM 91 to 95, UNC 95 to 2001, PNM 1818 2001 to 2002, PNM 2002 to 2010, People Partnership 2010 to 2015. All of those governments, there was never one year that the Auditor General was unable to formulate an opinion. And in the last 2 years of Rowley, Smallpin, Imbot, and all of them, the Makome Man crew, they could not formulate an opinion because there was no paperwork for your money. That's the issue. So we are now inside getting the real truth, because we would have had a better understanding if there was an Auditor General report with an Auditor General opinion pointing us in the direction and having all the numbers. But when you get down deeper, you are seeing holes. You are seeing that Foster Cummins company with the family in it was being paid $250,000 to cut grass in Couva. How much grass it have in Couva? No, all this study. Bossman.
You mean part of the grass?
But no, how much?
All the grass.
Not by Royston, but how much grass? No, think about it. We just call these numbers, and we don't stop to think.
It's ridiculous.
Because
it doesn't compute.
I just pay $600 every 2 or 3 weeks when it's raining and thing to cut by me, and it's about 10,000 square foot minus so about 6,000 square. Let me say $100 for 1,000 square foot. So you telling me them cutting 2.5 million square foot of grass, them cutting? That bigger than the whole of Couva? What are you telling me? No, man, the PNM is the most corrupt old thief party in the history of the Caribbean.
Nice! I like how you talk. Wait. The people in their maxis. Just now, one more Lennox.
But the minister has agreed to remain.
Right, we'll max him one more game because it's exactly on the spot. Trinidad and Tobago, you the people, just now Lennox, you the people in your maxis, in your taxis.
Andy, I don't need no head start. If you're going and take a little break, take the break, and then when you come back, ask me the question. I don't need no advanced question. I don't need no assistance, because me ain't so bright. You understand?
Well, all right. Well, here is my big question before we take that break. The big question to Senator Anil Roberts for the people of Trinidad.
Go take the break. Forget Andy. Yeah,
right, take the break.
We have to go for a break, people. And when we come back, time is upon us. When we go for the break, and when we come back,
they are the echoes of who we are, passed down in voices, in silence, and in memory. From the heart of the Caribbean, where history, mystery, and magic meet, this is Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Your weekly journey into the legends, stories, and whispers of our islands. Brought to you by Talk City 91.1 FM. Across the Caribbean, stories of the supernatural have been passed down from generation to generation. One of the most well-known is the legend of the Duppy. A Duppy is believed to be the spirit of the dead, roaming the earth at night, unseen but never forgotten. Elders say there are ways to protect your home. One of the oldest traditions is simple: sprinkle salt or rice grains around your doors and windows. Why? Because a Duppy, according to folklore, cannot enter until it counts every grain. And as the night wears on, the task becomes impossible. By the time the last grain is counted, the sun has risen, and the spirit must return to the other world. Whether taken as belief, tradition, or storytelling, the legend of the Duppy remains a powerful part of Caribbean culture, reminding us of the past, our ancestors, and the mysteries we still cannot explain. Another tale from our islands, reminding us that the past, the spirits, and the stories of our ancestors are never far away. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Only on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most. On air and online. More ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
If you are a migrant currently living in Trinidad and Tobago without legal immigration status, this message is for you. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has introduced a special registration process for migrants who have overstayed or entered the country illegally. The online registration process will begin from Monday 26th of January and end on Wednesday 25th of February 2026. All applicants are first required to register through the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. After completing the online registration, there will be a mandatory in-person processing and verification which begins at the end of February 2026. The start date for that phase will be announced through official government channels. The in-person registration will take place at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, Port of Spain, the Atto Bolden Stadium in Balmain, Couva, and the Larry Gomes Stadium in Malabar, Arima, as well as the Dwight York Stadium, Bacalet, Scarborough, Tobago. Applicants will undergo a comprehensive verification process which will include vetting by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service involving fingerprinting and background checks. You will also be required to undergo basic medical screening. Upon completion of the registration process, successful applicants will be required to pay $700 for the migrant registration card. The ministry reminds undocumented migrants your participation in this exercise is essential, as failure to register during this window will result in deportation. This special registration process for migrants is your opportunity to be documented, protected, and allowed to work legally in Trinidad and Tobago for a defined period. For additional instructions, along with online application and required forms, visit the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. This message brought to you by the Ministry of Homeland Security and the Information Division, Office of the Prime Minister.
The Trinbago Unified Calypsonians Organization proudly presents Kaiso Dynasty Calypso Tent live at the Radisson Hotel Ballroom, Wrightson Road, Port of Spain at 8 p.m. Featuring an extraordinary cast including Brother Valentino, Gypsy, Karina Shea, Freetown Collective, Young Brother, Brother Mudada, Poser, Chuck Gordon, Terry Lyons, Dwayne O'Connor, Tazeo O'Connor, Colonel Roberts, Ricky Jai, Aaron Duncan, Black Sage, Pretty, Squeezy Rankin, Lady Aisha, Chromatic, Calypso Car, Gary Cordner, Lady Gypsy, Bunny B, Black Birthmark, Saki, Reese and Mel, Tamika Darius, Mark Pear, Rhythm Nation, Brother Mark, and Rampo. Get your tickets now at islandytickets.com and suntix.com or grab them in person at Tico Head Office, 5 Rosalino Street, Woodbrook, East Zone at the PTSC Building, O'Mara Road, Arima, South and Central Zone, Mezzanine Floor, Skinner Park, North Zone, 10 City Mall, Port of Spain, Michelle's on Queen Street, Arima, Simon's Music Center, Port Street, Crosby, St. James, Better Deal Supermarkets in Aranguez and Cunupia, Sion's Bar, Athletes by the Park, WAC Radio in San Fernando, and at the Radisson Hotel. Follow at Kaiso Dynasty on social media for updates and special announcements. Kaiso Dynasty 2026. The culture, the energy, the future of Calypso.
Where is the fire?
Mass in the streets. Talk in the city. Talk City 91.1.
This is Destra. And right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it loud.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
Bang, 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 bang.
Nice. Trinidad and Tobago, we are back. And the Senator, Anil Roberts, ain't running away. The Ground Report is a program that asks the hard questions. Whether we support our government or not, we have to ask the questions to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are proving to you, as we always promise you, that whether it's UNC, whether it's PNM, whether it's who, we will ask the hard question. Mainstream media won't do that, you know. Aka Samaru, all of them fellas and them, they ain't doing this, you know. We are asking, Tano Basness, Tano, we like Kamala Prasad, the anti-cams, we like Anil, I'm a partner. No. Tano like when it comes to people business.
Hey, Andy, who you call there? Akas? You call Akas?
Yes. So now let me go to some.
He does cry, you know. Akas does cry.
He's crying.
Oh, God, Akas. Yes, he does cry.
Now let me go to a very.
Get smart.
Now let me go to a very serious next question that the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
You asked something because I have a couple to.
You go and get yours now. When it coming to the migrants on the platforms, you all said certain things. The people of Trinidad and Tobago realize we under-resourced at this point in time when it coming to the taxes. Many people lost their jobs under the PNM, all those various things. They are making babies. We are spending on medication, all this kind of thing on them. We see all they open something. Your government open something, well, all of us. Open something where they have to pay 700. People are saying 700 is too late, but it's supposed to be 1,400. Because for we to get a visa, it's more than that. And then people want to know if it's just 700 or if you all going to make sure they're paying NIS, health charge, and all the rest of things that we citizens are paying. That is one question with that aspect we want to know. The next thing, answer that one.
Andy, you must understand what the PNM did while Keith Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young were going back and forth to Venezuela, dancing conga line and negotiating with an indicted narco-terrorist, drug smuggler, gang
just
leader,
pull that mic across there a little
human trafficker. Huh?
Yeah, pull the mic across a little bit there. Nice, go ahead.
That's all right. I'm just talking a little softer, don't worry. My boy here have the controls. I just make producer work hard. You understand? Now, while they were doing that, they left our borders porous. I used to go out fishing twice a month and so on and do videos and show all you on Doubles and Coffee, Douglas Politics, that not a vessel was patrolling. The radar wasn't working. The air guard didn't have no plane. The radar on the two plane was not functioning. 23 pilots from the air guard had resigned. PNM was not giving the Coast Guard diesel, but the PNM Chief of Defense Staff came and said he was patrolling 1,000 hours in a week. I didn't know 1,000 a week could have 1,000 hours. That's how white the PNM is. So the borders were porous, and during that COVID time and before, because of the decimation of the economy by Maduro, because of the corruption of Maduro, because the situation of living in Venezuela became so drastic, there was over 60% of the population living below the misery line, which is a line drawn lower than the poverty line. People were coming across to Trinidad and Tobago, across the 7 miles of the Gulf of Paria, into our unprotected borders by the PNM. At one point, it was estimated that over 150,000 illegal migrants were here. The PNM tried to do some sort of registration with small pin on a big mic, talking about come to register by the Oval. And they say that 13,962 people were registered out of 150,000. Now, as you said, they are a drain on the economy if they were not registered properly and work. Some of them work very hard. Kamla Prasad Bisesa is not against human beings who want to live and be peaceful. She wants to keep the people safe. So there are also many who came across who are gang members of Tren de Agua. We started to see things about man head getting chopped off, man digging up body and burning it and things. That is not a Trini gang. Trini gang have their ways. There was a different breed of animal that started to take over the criminal networks in Trinidad and Tobago. So Kamala Persad-Bissessar, one, has to get rid of the criminals who came across from Venezuela because Maduro let open his jails and let them out. She needs to know. We need to find them. But those who are here to work hard, to help build the economy, to make a safe life, but they must register, pay the registration fee, and when they register, if they have a job, they will pay the NIS, their taxes, and so on, so that they could assimilate into the country. Now, with the situation in Venezuela going to improve also, remember, Venezuelan people are very proud. They don't want to be in Trinidad. They don't want to be in Colombia. They don't want to be elsewhere. They want to be in Glorio El Bravo Pueblo, El Bravo Pueblo. But if the economy is decimated, they have to live, they have to survive. So we have to be strict, we have to be right, we have to make people pay their fair due, but we have to be humane. And that is Kamala Persad-Bissessar, brilliant, strong, and she rules and governs with a heart. So we want them to register. Those who don't register, well, they'll be in the hands of the police and deportation and all of that. So they will not be able to cry. They will have to go back, and that's how it is. But those who stay, Kamala wants to get the children in school, because creating children who cannot go to school, leaving them there in their key developmental stages, their growth and maturational stages, means that it doesn't augur well for the future in 10, 15 years. It means that more children would be available to the criminal gangs and not able to live a proper life. So we need to register those who are here so that they can be, we know who is here, what skills they have, they could be taxed, they could pay their NIS, children could go to school and so on, as you said. But the PNM left it so unmanaged and mismanaged and totally irresponsible that our country was reeling, not only with increased crime and murder and criminal gangs and drugs and guns, but with just illegality, wildness. And we need to get some order back from the smallest laws. Earlier was vexed, earlier she increased fines and so on. But let me tell you something. I's a driver. I driving a long time. And the roads for the last month or so, it's more peaceful to drive on the roads. You still have a few clunks, but it is much more orderly. It is much more courteous. And that is what discipline brings. We have to bring back discipline in the school, discipline at home, discipline from parents, discipline on the road, discipline to line up, discipline across the board, discipline, tolerance, production.
Nice. I get one thing. I get one thing in your mouth.
Let me just add my 2 pence to this. Is it because the focus is really on the fee that was being charged? Is it that a factor that would have been considered is our own obligation to the United Nations refugee a signatory to which Trinidad and Tobago is, and therefore you cannot appear to be too harsh and prohibitive.
Of course, we sign on to all these treaties, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar respects her word and respects the country's word, and therefore we have to move humanely. But we must also understand that she says Trinidad and Tobago first, her people first. The PNM has decimated this place, and she has to fix it first for our people. So that is how she's operating. That governs her cabinet meetings and her cabinet notes. And there is a plan. Some people feel Kamala win an election for a year, you know. It's a 5-year term. Rowley quit and leave all you. Rowley won an election in 2020, say he want to be all your prime minister. And just so, with a year and a half to go, Rowley quit and run like a mama pool and leave all you with small pin. A man with no rhythm, no culture, nothing but an elitist clung. And all you get licks. I won back small pin. Penny, small pin and them coming at you. All your PNM, vote back small pin for me now. So UNC going to be in power for 20 years.
Nice.
Your final addendum before I get back to the economics.
Right.
Go ahead.
My final one. I find one kink in his government armor. One kink. One kink is, all right, we understand, and they're going well, they're going to register everybody, all those various things. But all over the place, we hearing about that in English. Why have your government not send the warning to the Venezuelan people that only talking, most of them only talks Spanish, but yet still your bright government only have the advertising of that in English only. That the last one, and that the king are fine, but the last question is...
Señor Anil Williams, me acuerdo con usted. Está bien, es perfecto. La idioma que tú dices es lo mejor en el mundo. Necesitamos mensaje en español porque toda la gente de Venezuela habla español. Lo siento, mi amigo. Voy a llamar después de este programa el ministro y dice a él que todos los mensajes necesitan en inglés y español. Lo siento.
Oh, Jesus Christ, my... Oh, God, only... I call it... Well, all right, I want more. I want quick one. One quick one. The it have a fella that's calling him the boss man. He's calling for the head of Eli Zachary, the boss man. He's saying since you all come in power, you all stop sending San Fernando buses on a morning to go to Port of Spain. He catching the tail, everybody catching the tail, and all the buses only going before just Shogunas, only Shogunas getting all the bus, and all the UNC areas getting the bus. But all they not send, and all they sending the buses UE, and not studying it up people in San Fernando.
Don't waste too much time. I just think quick and answer quick. Well, bossman, me I know what you're talking about, but first and foremost, the whole country is UNC. So if we sending bus to UNC areas, that means the bus going everywhere. Secondly, let him message me 790-8254 and give me a little WhatsApp saying, bossman, we know what's going on since June 2025, buses not going to here, there, and everywhere. It used to go from 8:10, 9:30, 10:25, 12:30. Now we have no bus. And I will forward that to the Honorable Minister, and he will respond to the Douglas. That's how it works.
And
we will improve.
Don't forget, is the same man who said that only the Gandhi statue in San Fernando is cleaned and not the and suggesting of what the Marcus Garvey one.
Andy, it's better call him in a mind saying that Rowley and them they say this to floor for Rowley and small pit right there in St. Dan's Hospital. You make me give my number to a madman. Anyway, I know how to block.
Lennox, you go ahead now. Lennox, I will go lie.
Message me, eh?
Lennox, you want to go ahead now, partner. You see, Senator Roberts. Here we went with. The man telling people in Spanish. Senator Roberts talk Spanish.
Hold on, I want to say to Talk City 91.1 FM that when the doubles in my belly, I just get coffee here too. Doubles and coffee on 91.1.
And we provide that courtesy as well.
And
so
talk
it's going
Spanish,
to
yes.
be 91.1 Talk City as well. You mentioned earlier the situation with the claim by the present opposition that the present government is not doing too well economically and not doing good at all, matter of fact. And we're asking, of course, especially after the reading of the budget, where the money is coming from. But of course, one has to recall that in 2015, they, as government, met over some $12 billion US. And by the time the present administration came into office on the 28th of April last year, there was about $5 billion US. A depletion of just over 75%.
Lennox,
go ahead.
The PNM,
yes,
who ravaged, raped, and damaged the Treasury for 9.5 years, saying that the United National Congress under Kamala Persad-Bissessar is not doing well with the economy. It's like an abusive husband coughing the wife in the teeth and then telling she why she don't smile. Let Penny and the PNM please go in your bed and hush your mouth, because understand that what they did, what we are now finding out, the mismanagement, the corruption, the expenditure without value for money, the borrowing unfettered, taking our debt to GDP ratio up to 97%, and then on top of that, before COVID, shrinking the economy, the general GDP of Trinidad and Tobago under Kamala Persad-Bissessar in 2014-2015 was up at $185 billion. By 2019, due to the bad policies of the PNM, the poor negotiation, the shutting down of a refinery, the economy shrunk by $30 billion. Then came COVID and it shrunk more. The PNM then said in 2023-24, the economy grew by 1.6% and 1.2%. So if it grew by 3%, but you shrunk it by 20%, it's still 17% smaller than under Kamala. You see these small pin and small brain people, they cannot run a country. And so the PNM needs to hush. Yeah. The economy is decimated. When Kamala left in 2015 September, reserves at the bank in US was 12.25 billion US. 14 months of import cover. When she came back in May 2025, that import cover was down to 8 months. The reserves were down to under 5.8 billion. The foreign exchange crisis was exacerbated when Kamala left in 2015 September. The Heritage and Stabilization Fund was 6.7 billion US. Do you know that in 2025, it had just come back up to the exact same thing? Now, one must understand the opportunity cost for the 9.5 years. If the PNM had run the economy properly, our Heritage and Stabilization Fund, the savings should have been at least 18 billion US, but it was just the same as when Kamala left it because the PNM is incompetent. Colmin Butt is the most dotish human being to ever sit as a Minister of Finance, and he's arrogant. Understand that he took away everything from the people. The PNM's policy about wean yourself off your own money, that's insane. Imagine you voting for people who saying the money that you pay, I am going to use it for myself and my ministers and the rich to get richer, and I'm going to take it away from you. That's what Rowley said. Rowley said the government cannot provide healthcare and roads and all of this. You have to wean yourself off the government. You know PNM people still vote for that? The man tell them he's going to take the laptop. They say, yeah, take my child laptop. What is wrong with all your PNM people?
It's suicidal. Of course, they argued against deficit budgeting. Your comments, I don't want to go further.
Deficit budgeting is a normal economic reality. Now, under the situation that we are in after 9.5 years of total incompetence, we have to go and extend the deficit budgeting because you will need, as we talked about earlier, to inject money into the economy, to start this engine room going, to get contracts to small and micro businesses, small contractors. Kamala Prasad Bisesa in 2010 to 2015 would instruct all the major works and infrastructure, housing and so on, that contracts must be shared out. The PNM come in and only the same big boys getting contract. I seen big boys with big company fixing little pothole in the road and so on. Why small contractors who hire 5-10 people can't get that and build themselves? Kamala Prasad Bisesa is about spreading the wealth, living up to the Constitution. In the preamble to the Constitution, it says the resources of the country must be utilized for everybody. Everybody must have a chance to take part. The PNM, only if you're in Balize House and you know somebody, you getting through. Those days are done. Whether it is in school, they take away scholarship. Why? Because to get a bursary, you have to go and lick some K-packs of some PNM person. Yes, give me, not give me. Work hard, get what you deserve. I was talking to a former national swimmer who went to Olympics in 1984. I ain't gonna call his name. And while we discussing, he said, Anil, you know, I have to be beholden to the PNM. I said, why, boy? He said, you know, back in them days, they helped me go to university. I said, they help you? Well, they give me a grant, a scholarship to assist. I said, let me ask you something. And he said when he finished, he got a job at a ministry.
Right.
I said, let me ask you something, my brother. When you qualify for the Olympics, were you training 10 sessions per week, 5 hours per day? Were you pushing yourself to the point of tears and pain? Were you working hard to represent your country? Did you put on the red, white, and black and go to CAC Games 1982 and win gold? Did you go to Pan Am Games and make the final? Did you qualify and torture yourself to represent Trinidad and Tobago? He said yes. I said, well, you deserve that. Them and do you no favor, boss. You know he watch me. He said, but you talk the truth.
Eventually, he had to face reality.
The PNM just feel anytime you get something or something, you owe them. You don't owe them. The PNM they say, but Anil, you bright boy, that PNM education. That is not PNM education. That is their duty that you have to go to school. I have to go and use what I have to use to be bright.
Yeah. Quickly, we have to go for the news. But quickly, the massive unveiling of the redevelopment plan for Trinidad and Tobago. Massive. It is just mind-boggling.
It's a dream. It's mind-boggling. And if Jolene John could pull off 10% of that moving forward, Trinidad and Tobago will be on the right track. But the creative, the thought, the process, and people talking about if it was Manning plan, and so if Patrick Manning had a plan that was beautiful, God bless Patrick Manning. I don't know how such a beautiful, brilliant man could make a son looking like Brian, but that's our next topic for
and what it means for employment opportunities, quickly. What it means for employment.
But of course, diversification, employment, the refinery bringing back, Exxon coming, increasing, hopefully bringing back steel, getting diversification, Tobago, tourism, foreign direct investment. But we must make our country safe first, because investors are looking on and they don't want to see murder in the street. They don't want to see blood flowing in the street. They want to see peace. They want to see stability. And that's what Kamala Prasad Bisesa is about.
All right. I'll be excited a bit to ask you to stay on. But
no.
Thank you very much, of course. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. Of course, we had in studio, of course, I should say now, and we are wrapping up now because we have to go for the news. Of course, it was Senator Anil Roberts, of course, who discussed very frankly all of the information that all of you would have missed. This comes as though is a review of the entire government after and post 100 and something.
You have to come back. You have to come back next month. I have 3 questions I ain't gonna ask. So you have to come back again next month.
He has to come back. He has to come back. He'll come back.
Andy, don't try that. The only man who does go once a month to Venezuela 13 times is Small Pin. He went there like a period. Don't try to make me into that. Come. Don't try to make that. God bless you.
We'll get him back.
News time. Blessings.
Yes, indeed. People have to go for the news. And when we come back more on this edition of the Ground Report.